So it can be quite difficult to separate the myths from the truths for fat loss. We live in a world where anyone could say anything online on a specific topic and it could be completely wrong. But because the video got a lot of views or the person is quite popular, people may start to believe it. Now, I've been a fat loss coach for over 10 years and I've helped a lot of men lose hundreds of kilos of fat across the globe. And I've also made a few transformations with my own physique. So from watching a lot of videos, reading a lot of books, and having real life experience in the gym, I'm able to differentiate the truths from the bullshit. Now, unfortunately, if you believe certain myths, then it's going to stop you from losing weight. And if you're really working hard to lose that weight, then it's going to suck and you'll be wondering why the hell you aren't able to lose it. So in this video, I'm going to debunk those myths so you guys are more aware and you can start losing fat. So let's get into it. So myth number 1, tracking calories won't help you to lose fat. Now, I've heard this a lot, and it's like saying tracking finances won't help you to save money. It just simply isn't true. Now, do you need to track your calories in order to lose fat? No. But will it help to make your fat loss journey more effective? Absolutely. Now, you can't really argue against the laws of thermodynamics. It's literally calories in versus calories out. Nothing else really matters. You need to be in a calorie deficit if you want to lose fat, meaning that you need to be consuming less calories than your body burns on a daily basis. So how do you actually know how many calories your body burns on a daily basis, which is also known as your maintenance calories? Well, you can figure it out by using a calorie calculator. And if you don't have access to one, then you can use mine, which you can find in the link below. Download it, plug in your values, and figure out your maintenance calories. Then just eat below that number on a daily basis to start losing fat. So over the years, I've helped quite a few people to lose fat. And there's one major difference to those who lose a lot of fat compared to those who barely lose any fat at all. And that is those who lose a lot of fat actually track their calories consistently on a daily basis. So for me, there's no denying that tracking your calories consistently every single day will help you to lose fat faster and it will make it much easier for you to do so. So I don't really understand the people that say calories don't matter. It's not about the calories if you want to lose weight. You know, it's about your hormones, the amount of sugar you eat, the amount of carbs you consume. You know, what are calories? Calories are just a myth. Now, the people that say this are also the same people that don't track their calories because it takes too much time or it's too difficult for them. So they want to find any excuse for the reason that they aren't able to lose fat. They want to blame it on something else. Now, I'm not saying hormones don't play a part in your fat loss progress because they do. However, the main driver of fat loss is a calorie deficit. Your hormones will just make the process of losing fat a little bit harder or a little bit easier, but it's not the reason why you're not able to lose it. The main reason is simply because you're just eating too much. Now, what if you are tracking calories but you're not losing weight? Then it's most likely going to be because you're not tracking correctly. You see, a lot of people under-track their calories, so they don't put in the correct amount of the foods they actually eat. So they don't end up losing weight because they're probably eating in a calorie surplus. So my advice would be to check if you're tracking correctly. Otherwise, you may just be under-eating. So if you're eating too low calories, your body goes into a state called starvation mode. So you end up holding onto the fat instead of losing it. And I'll be talking more about that later in this video. So myth number 2, you need to completely cut out carbs and sugars to lose fat. So carbs and sugars get a bit of a bad reputation in my opinion. They are not the reason why you're not able to lose fat. Now, I don't know where this myth has come from that carbs and sugars make you fat, but it's a little bit annoying because it's the reason why people completely cut out carbs and sugars and then they end up feeling like and it's because of this myth. So consuming too much carbs and sugars aren't going to help with your fat loss, of course, but consuming too much of anything really won't help. For me, all 3 macronutrients are very important to include when it comes to dieting. If you cut one of the 3 out, then it's just going to make the whole dieting approach a lot more unsustainable for you, and it's not going to help with your performance. Also, it's not going to help when it comes to building muscle mass if you cut one of the 3 macronutrients out. And therefore, it's going to make it a lot harder for you to lose the fat because essentially the more muscle you have on your frame, the more fat that you will burn. So carbs help to fuel your workout and give you energy throughout the day. You should include some form of carbs into your diet as from a performance standpoint, it's going to be beneficial. You don't want to cut them out completely. Now, when it comes to sugar, you don't need to consume sugar if you don't want to because it's not necessary. In fact, if you have a lot of weight to lose, and I'm talking over 100 pounds, then I actually recommend to cut out sugar for a short period of time because it helps you to lose fat faster. But for majority of you don't really need to cut out sugar. So the reason why sugar gets a bad rep is because it's highly addictive. So the more sugar you have, the more you may end up consuming because your hunger hormone increases, and that might be the reason why you're eating in a calorie deficit all the time. However, if you're sensible about how much of these foods you're consuming and you're including them into your calories, then it's fine to have it in moderation. Like I do it and I'm still able to lose fat. Remember, it's just about the calories. It's just about calories in versus calories out. And that's it. If you're including them into your calories and you're still eating under your maintenance, then you'll be able to lose the fat. You don't need to completely cut out specific food groups just because somebody on the internet said that's the reason you're not able to lose fat. So myth number 3 is if you eat very low calories, you will lose fat. Now this may confuse a few people because on this channel, all I talk about is eating in a calorie deficit and how that is required to lose fat. Now, yes, this is true, but there's a bit of a caveat. So you can undereat, and if you do undereat, then your body will actually hold fat instead of lose it. Now let me explain. If you're severely undereating, so this number is going to be different for different people, but I would say it's anything over 1,000 calories below your maintenance on a daily basis, then your body is going to go into starvation mode. Now your body is designed to store fat and not lose it. So the main purpose of your body is to survive. So if your body is not getting the nutrients it requires and needs to function on a daily basis, then you're going to hold on to your fat stores and you're not going to be able to shed off the weight. At this point, your body is going to conserve as much energy as possible, and it's going to be very difficult for you to lose weight. So that's why even if you're eating in a calorie deficit, if you're eating too low calories, then it's going to have the opposite effect of what you want. So eating very low calories can actually hinder your fat loss progress, but you still need to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. So what do? Well, you need to find a middle ground where your calorie deficit is not so big that you're undereating, but it's not so small that you're not losing any fat either. So my recommendation is to eat between your maintenance and 1,000 calories under your maintenance. So stay in that range and you'll be able to lose fat without going into starvation mode. And many people actually make this mistake of undereating. They believe if they cut their calories by a huge amount, they'll be able to lose fat. Now, yes, initially you may lose some weight, and that'll be water weight and maybe a little bit of fat, but then you'll start to hit a plateau and they'll wonder why they're not losing any more weight because they're eating in a calorie deficit, so what are they doing wrong? And then they may just give up on the idea of a calorie deficit completely. And that's where these myths come about. You need to eat in a calorie deficit, but not so low calories that you're going to be under eating. So just keep this in mind, and I don't want you guys to fall into the same trap. So myth number 4, just doing more cardio will help you to lose more fat. Now, doing cardio while eating in a calorie deficit will help you to lose fat, yes. But if you're doing cardio and not worrying about your calories, then don't expect to see any results. For example, if you're doing a lot of cardio, but then you're eating back those calories and more, then doing a lot of cardio isn't going to work. Also, you don't actually need to do any cardio at all if you want to lose fat. This is another big myth that you need to do cardio to lose fat. You can literally just sleep, get up in the morning, sit around all day, then go back to bed, and you can still lose fat as long as you're eating in a calorie deficit, so you're eating below your maintenance. If you're eating below your maintenance on a daily basis, then you're going to be losing fat regardless. So you don't actually need to do cardio in order to lose fat. This is another big myth. Now, moving more will help you to burn more fat, but it isn't actually required. However, I don't recommend doing this. I recommend moving more and doing cardio at the gym, not just for your cardiovascular health, but it will also allow you to eat more calories. For example, let's say person A doesn't move at all, but wants to lose fat, and their maintenance is 2,500 calories. This means that they would need to eat between 2,000 to 2,500 calories to drop fat. Now, let's say person B is the same as person A, but the only difference is that they are more active and does cardio. Now, because their expenditure will be higher, their maintenance calories will also be higher. Therefore, this will allow them to eat a little bit more as they are burning more, and they will still be able to drop body fat. And this will have a positive effect not only on their performance, but also for their muscle preservation. And that's why I actually recommend to incorporate more cardio into routine while you're losing fat if you want to build an aesthetic physique. And the final myth is that fat loss is linear. So whenever I start training clients, they always presume that fat loss is linear. They'll be able to lose fat without any issues. There'll be a continuous trend. However, this is generally not the case. Now, fat loss can be linear if you have an amazing strategy and you follow everything down to a T every single day for weeks on end. But for the majority of people, this ain't going to happen. There's going to be some challenges that you're going to need to go through. Not everything is always going to go to plan. For example, you may eat out here and there. You may have to go abroad for an emergency for work or for family, and things can get a little bit out of hand. So you need to take these realistic things into consideration during your fat loss phase. So even for me, when I go through a fat loss phase, not everything goes to plan. I hit a plateau if I'm not doing enough cardio or I'm not getting my steps in, and then I have to readjust my calories. So you're not going to see a linear trend. Usually your fat loss journey will look more like this. Your weight is going to fluctuate every single week. It won't be a continuous downward trend. For example, 1 week it may be slightly higher due to more water intake, more salts. And even if you go over your calories a little bit, then your weight may be a little bit higher. But as long as there's an overall downward trend, then you'll lose fat. Just take that into consideration. It's going to look more like a trading chart rather than a linear chart. Just keep that in mind and don't get discouraged by it. If things aren't going your way, just keep pushing through, keep believing in your strategy, and eventually you'll hit your goal. And if you are struggling to lose body fat, then I recommend downloading my free cutting guide below. It's free, it has tons of information, and it gives you the exact steps to follow to help you drop body fat with ease. So download it, follow everything in there, and I guarantee you'll drop body fat. So guys, those are the 5 main myths that I have seen online in my 15 years of doing this. And I don't want you to fall into the same trap of believing these myths, because it's going to hinder your fat loss progress. So this video is just to help you become aware of these myths, and I hope it helps. And if you did enjoy this video and found it helpful, then do me a favor and smash the like button. And if you're new to the channel and you like my content, then do me another favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications, because I'm releasing a video every single week just like this and you don't want to miss them. And if you want to know how to keep the shreds after a fat loss phase and not regain the fat back, then I recommend watching this video next. And remember, stay natty, stay clean, and peace. I'll see you guys in the next video.